Hello and welcome one and all. It is ICD, Art of Dark One, and we are here with Kamen Rider Double Forever, A to Z, the Gaia Memories of Fate. Yes, this is a very long title, and this is Kamen Rider Double's solo movie, also known as a summer movie, although I don't know if that's still accurate anymore, considering the fact these movies, no, I think it's still accurate. I think we're back on production tracks in 01. So anyway, this is Double solo movie, and I have to explain some background stuff that didn't get explained in the main video because spoilers. So, spoilers. Anyway, let's begin. So, Foundation X. Foundation X is a major backer for a museum and kind of work as a research group looking into different power sources for powering up various villain factions in their bid for world domination. They were supposed to work as a background force and main villain for these various movies and basically replace Shocker, but then, Shocker came back in a big way, and then we got Shocker every other year, although Foundation X became the main front for at least a handful of these earlier Heisei movies, Phase 2 Heisei movies, or Neo Heisei movies. Anyway, in this case, they are researching the Gaia memories and developing a set of 26 Tier 2 or T2 Gaia memories, which are more developed and more refined than the standard Gaia memories that we've had throughout the course of the series. And anyway, they're about to be shipped off by a helicopter, but they're attacked by a mysterious man who steals an E-memory and transforms before telling his allies to go on the hunt for the remaining memories as they've fallen down from above all over Fuuto. Meanwhile, Philip is reading in a park as he becomes curious about his mother. As the group sits around, some previous enemy Dopants attacks the group and Double fights them off, as Exile's also fighting off some former enemies. But when they defeat them, the memories don't break, and when the Dopants are beaten, their designs are different from the standard memories, as these are the Tier 2 memories. The group are met by Maria Cranberry, an Interpol agent who explains the T2 memories and who caused the incident. Our villain's name is Katsumi Daido, and we'll be getting into him later. There's a lot, and I mean a lot about him. Anyway, with this new knowledge, they head out and search for the remaining memories. Along the way, they're attacked by a woman who uses one of the memories to become the Heat Dopant. And as they fight her, another person attacks and becomes the Luna Dopant. And then someone else attacks and becomes the Metal Dopant, as these are members of Katsumi's group. They're cornered, but they're saved by the Wind Dopant, who ferries him away. Back in the office, Philip does a lookup and finds out their enemies are a group called Never, and are beings known as Necro-Overs, essentially intelligent zombie super soldiers created by Foundation X. But they didn't decide to go forward with them because they have their various setbacks. Anyway, the group get a call from Maria to go to a construction site, where they find Daido, who transforms using the Eternal Memory and a driver to become Kamen Rider Eternal. And one more Never member shows up and becomes the Trigger Dopant. Double and Axel find themselves unable to beat their foes, only for Eternal to activate his finisher and a special power of the Eternal T2 memory that disables all Gaia memories before T2. So basically, only Tier 2 Gaia memories will work from here on out until the Eternal memory is destroyed. They steal the group's remaining gathered memories and give a message to Philip before heading off the Fuuto Tower and making it their base. The next day, Never discovers they're missing one memory and broadcasts something to all of Fuuto, basically offering a cash reward for the last memory they need to enact their plan, the J memory. Of course, this leads to chaos in the streets, while Philip goes to meet with Maria, only for Daido to reveal that Maria is his mother, and this was all essentially a trap. Should have figured out by the fact that, she led you to a trap before, but whatever. Shotaro returns to the office and finds not only a lost driver, which is essentially a solo double driver. This thing is kind of weird in its existence, because it's supposed to exist from a novel that was never translated, so I can't confirm if it's from that book, or which doesn't make any sense because it was delivered supposedly by the spirit of Sokichi. It's Sokichi's original driver, but Sokichi had his driver on him when he got shot and died in the tower. So this thing's either from the book, which wouldn't be that weird, but again, I haven't read the book to confirm it, so I don't know. Or it's Sokichi's, which, where did that come from if it's Sokichi's driver? It's all very weird where this thing comes from. It looks like it's delivered by Sokichi, but it's here, and it leads to a really cool scene where Shotaro is attacked by the heat dopant and learns that Philip is in trouble before finding the T2 Joker memory, the missing memory, and transforming into Kamen Rider Joker. He fights off the heat dopant and storms the enemy base alongside Ryu, who still can't transform, and makes it all the way up to Daido, who uses the zone memory to call all the gathered memories together and plug them into his weapon, the X-Picker. He plans to use the 26 memories to turn the entire city of Fuuto into necro-overs like himself. And then we learn a bit about the downside of being a necro-over, as if they're hit by one of the double finishers, their bodies crumble away. So this is explained in the series, but injuries that are caused by Gaia memories can only be healed naturally with no outside interference. So no medicines and stuff like that will work on them. However, because they're zombies, they don't have natural healing abilities. So yeah, they're kind of screwed, and Daido does not care. The only thing he wants to do is spread his suffering from being undead to everyone he can imagine. However, they plugged Philip into the X-Picker because they need him as a power source. I'm not going to explain why, that's explained in series. But because Philip is plugged into it, he manages to disable the Eternal Memory's power to reactivate all disabled drivers, and Maria drugs Daido to take him out, but he shoots her with Philip destroying the X-Picker and ruining his plans. Axel can transform now and transforms to fight off his enemies, while Daido scampers off the tower to get an antidote. But before Double can chase after him, he's attacked by the Luna Dopant, who takes him off to another rooftop. While on said rooftop, a red coin rolls across the roof and lands at Double's feet. A young man appears, asking for the coin as Double gives it to him and tells him to run off. In a keep yourself safe kid kind of way. But this young man, named Eiji Hino, says that he'll repay his debt to Shotaro, and uses this red coin to transform into our next series rider, Kamen Rider O's, and proceeds to take out the Luna Dopant. And here's a bit of a joke, I guess it's not only doubles finishers that take these things out, but any finisher from a Kamen Rider. This is something that will become more prevalent as these movies go on. The early bird cameos. We already saw a bit of it with Axel's appearance at the end of the Decade Double movie, which that serves as the secondary introduction, which becomes a tradition for basically every movie from here on. Most movies, I think, maybe Double or Bill was the last one. Bill was the last one to have an ending like that. Maybe Zio, but it's a tradition that the next series rider will show up in the movie for the current series in some way or another to get that hype built up. Anyway, Double returns to fight Eternal using rapid form changes to keep him off balance, and Eternal decides to use Zone to get out of the memories again to give himself a power-up, and smashes into the tower to take out Double, who then uses the Extreme Memory, his final form, and then wins the city himself to transform into his final form, and beats Eternal with the Double Rider Kick. The Double Rider Kick. Daido laughs as he dies and explodes, and the Eternal Memory finally breaks. Within the aftermath, everyone's celebrating the defeat as they go to a fireworks festival, which was something that was a bit of a background plot point for this movie about it being delayed. Anyway, this is a fun movie. There's some minor things, like I said, about the Lost Driver thing, and some stuff here or there. Not plot stuff. When it comes to plotting, this movie actually lines in perfectly with the ongoing series, which is something that you can't say a lot about a lot of these movies. But here's one weird thing. So this movie was made back when 3D was a big movie gimmick, so there's some obvious scenes of those big 3D moments in the film where they throw stuff at the camera. It's really obvious with the with the Never Dopants, as they throw their Gaia memories to hit really weird spots in their bodies, and it almost always runs across the camera in this whole 3D, image way that you'll know what you know if you've seen the 3D movie before you know it. Yeah. Now, seeing the Dopants of Double's main forms is a really cool idea. I love it when we get to see cool concepts that we never get to see in a series, in a movie. Like, hey, what if he used this driver instead of his normal driver? Or what if the enemy used the main rider's own equipment against them? Again, it's really cool to see that when it does happen, and it's cool to see these Dopant versions of Double's main memories, although we don't get the Joker Dopant, but that's fine. We get to see Kamen Rider Joker for the first time. And yeah, Eternal's really cool. I just like him as a villain. He's a great one-off villain, just a kind of crazy asshole to fight. Although later additions to his character kind of try to give him a bit of a sense of nobility to his actions, or at least give him a bit more of a touching side and attachment to his companions. Although, as you see in the movie, he doesn't give a shit about his companions. He's only in it for the suffering of others to ease his own suffering. It's kind of weird, but I do like his appearances in some later editions, such as his appearance in the video game that I may or may not talk about at some point, as well as his appearance in Kamen Rider Zeo. But again, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, Eternal is a really cool villain for this movie, to sum up my opinion of him. This is, all in all, it's a cool one-off adventure where our heroes stop a massive villain from wrecking everything. And yeah, this basically is a shonen movie, for those who don't know the terminology. It's essentially one of those big anime movies of a long-going series where the heroes fight a random villain that comes out of nowhere in an explosive big way, and is never mentioned in the main series. Although the Eternal stuff is semi-mentioned in the main series, so it's not uncanon, but it falls along the same lines as, let's say, every Naruto movie, or every One Piece movie, or the Bleach movies, for those of you who cast the drift on that, or the My Hero Academia movies for those of you young bloods out there. Anyway, this is something that really doesn't matter all too much in the grand scheme of canon, but still cool to have. And honestly, if I had to say anything bad, it was Philip's plotline with Maria. I know this is leading into something because we do get some stuff on Philip's mom in the main series, but it's kind of a stretch for him to go all baby bird and think Maria is his mom, if you ask me. It feels kind of weird, and I know Philip has this hyperfixation thing that he does throughout the series, so where he'll hyperfixate on a subject matter to the detriment of everyone around him. But again, this feels like one of the weirdest things that the normally logical Philip would, not normally logical and a very Vulcan-like Philip, to basically give all into emotions and believe that Maria is his mom with no clerical evidence that she is said person. Again, it just feels like it's there to add drama between him and Shotaro, which is something that happens a lot in the series. But hey, it does get us where we're going at some point, and I guess that's fine. Oh, random trivia news, they also aired this in America. Well, they aired it online. Toei has the Toei Tokusatsu channel, which they showcase, it basically showcases trailers and stuff to random stuff. Currently speaking, it's showing the Kamen Rider Black trailers for the upcoming Kamen Rider Black Sun Amazon TV series that I may or may not talk about. I don't know. It depends on if that thing's good or not. But it also has the first 2 episodes of every Kamen Rider season, and it has done movie premieres of various random Kamen Rider movies, such as this movie, the Gaia soccer movie, which we'll talk about later. I don't know why the Gaia soccer movie, but it was aired, and the Zeo movie. You gotta be honest, I kind of wish they would do more of these for the more recent movies, especially 01, but we'll talk about that when we get to that. So yeah, overall, I like this movie pretty good, and with that, I'll see you all next time.